Okay, it is day 140 of Operation Thunderhead. Um, what a crazy day. So, I'm working on the project that I've been working on that I'm keeping a little hush hush, but it's going to be going off in 9 days. And then we're just going to see what results after that. So, you'll be seeing a bunch of videos pop up. Probably nothing too crazy or whatever. I'll be honest, there's a part of me that's, I don't know. I'm hoping that by reaching out and by doing something, I can make a difference and hopefully set off a couple people. But then, as I've been reaching out and trying to make progress even in my own life and seeing some of the rabbit holes I've gone down, sometimes I worry that I can't, just because people, I don't know, people are difficult to influence, or at least, for me. And I'm not really, I'm not anything special. So, um, I mean, I am, but I'm not perceived as such. And I'm starting to see, like, more and more, I realize how important it is to be seen, versus have anything worth seeing. And more and more, I think just kind of seeing, like, the need to get that attention and recognizing how important that is to kind of the infrastructure of life. That's something that I've got to deal with. So I'm still doing the program. I'm working through the bags right now. If you don't know what I'm doing, I'm working on this 1,000 crane project thing. I'm going to be doing it in like a week, so I'm talking more freely about it. I kind of kept it hush hush for a while, but it's going to be going off, and I don't imagine too many people are watching this video, so I'm just keeping a record. And yeah, I'm just hoping to make a difference. What was crazy is that the person that got me thinking it was last year, it was this girl that flipped me off. And, I was working through it, and she lives, like, on the other side of Bushwick. But then I saw her walking down the street, and, I was like, I should say something to her, like a crazy person. And most of the time I was like, no, reserve back. She's been rude to you. She obviously doesn't appreciate you talking to her. But I'm kind of at this point where I realized so much of, like, what people say and how I've been really thinking about what it is that I feel, right? And I'm always realizing, like, I realize from her perspective, it's probably like, who is this jerk that he thinks he's entitled to my attention or my time, right? And I, even in my own self, I realize, like, yeah, nobody's necessarily entitled to my attention or my time. But I do realize, like, people are entitled to respect and dignity. And I guess for me, that was what the crux of the matter was. And I feel like that's something a lot of people have forgotten, like common decency, courtesy, the acknowledgement of other human beings. And I think just generally creating, like, quote unquote safe spaces. But safe spaces aren't created by everybody ignoring and not speaking to each other. Safe spaces are created, like, through the opposite, right? And that's something that's kind of been lost along the way. And more I'm just starting to see in myself that, that's got to change. And that's what I'm hoping to do. But, how much can I change? Can I make? But I'm going to do my best, right? And I feel like I'm just going to do my best. And I'm kind of at this point where I've just decided that's all I could do is my best. And so I'm just trying to set up everything as best or as haphazardly as I can. And then just put out what I have there. And then just ultimately talk about and share what I have. So in the next couple days, I'm going to be going over the different traits of characters and be having scripts or whatever. And then I have, like, a big movie that I'm supposed to make or whatever. And a part of me wanted to put this big production or do this thing behind it. And it's not necessarily that I want to half-ass anything. I'm just running on fumes at this point, I'll be honest. And just getting to the point of working out and getting everything. I've just been, like, running on fumes. I've been handling so many different things. And so I just want to make sure that I do justice to those who've invested in me, honor the students that I have, get them through to the end of that course, make sure everything's really buttoned up tight, and then after that sort of work and seek to expand there. So I'm just trying to figure out how to mentally rejuvenate myself and get back to myself, because I'm realizing just more and more I can't really rely on anybody else to do that. And it's tough because I do think that social support and being together and having friends and all that is really important. And I don't necessarily think I'm someone who detracts from that, but I'm recognizing like more and more, um, you can't necessarily rely on your character in a place where character isn't a value. It doesn't mean that character stops being important. I just realized that's not necessarily what's going to get you attention and create the opportunities for connection in the typical sense. And I'm okay with that. And that's just something more and more that I've kind of had to decide, like, because there's a part of me, obviously, like, you know, I want to have friends, I want to be with people, but more and more I've realized I just want to be a good person and feel like I'm making the world a better place. And that's something that I feel like by my being here, the world is better off for it. But I don't think that I do everything to the best of my ability. And, but I feel like I do it to the best of my capacity. And that's what's frustrating, because I feel like I have far more ability and potential, but my capacity is extremely limited. And so, yeah, that's just something that I'm having to work through. And so a part of me is just stop trying to do like all these different gimmicks. Like in my Instagram page, I'm going to stop thinking so much about all these different posts, and I'm just going to start just putting things out there and giving status reports. Eventually I'll start doing things worth value, and I do want to start talking about writing and giving things worth value. But honestly, at this point, I feel like the biggest thing I can do is just hope to take care of myself and then figure out the rest. And I'm just hoping, you know, as I kind of convalesce emotionally and mentally, from the rigorous work of putting the business together, as well as sort of just the fallout of a lot of relationships. Not in the fallout. See, that's the funny when I say that, is because I've realized I was fighting for a lot of things that I didn't have. And I think going to Utah really helped me see that. And I realized, like, oh, like if I stop putting energy in this, it's going to fail. And I realized, yeah, it's going to fail because I was trying to earn something that I never really had. And I think one of the biggest things is just building on the things that I have. And it's not to say that people aren't worthwhile, but more and more I'm starting to realize for myself, generally people have proven through a large data sample that the ROI generally isn't there. And I don't think it's a matter of people necessarily. I'm just starting to see that my mission and kind of the things that I'm meant to do, it's pointing me in a different direction, and I'll get my needs based off of that. And so there's just a switch that I need to make. And also I think environment has a big thing that's playing out in it. And that's been something I've been thinking a lot about, is what is a sort of healthy, good environment where I can build myself and kind of, you know, expand beyond what I'm having here. And I realize right now staying in New York is the thing I need to do. It was a decision that I was kind of juggling around for a bit, because I just wanted to do this project and leave. But I realized, you know, let me see if I can't give it at least a solid 2 years. And, you know, after 2 years, I think I'll have come and gotten what I wanted to come here to get. And, you know, I've given it time, but I think with the pandemic, there was a lot of growth and things that mattered in one end. And so I'm just going to lean into what's working and not worry about what isn't, because there's a lot of things that are going really well, like really well. So like financially and in terms of like my space, I've never been better. Right. So I just have to really be grateful for that, and realizing like in terms of like that survival, I've been doing really well. And that for a long time, I've had my own space, like basically for the last 5 years, 4 years, I've always had my own space, and I haven't really had to share my space for long stretches of time with undesirables. It's happened, right? You know, I had my roommate incident last year or whatever, but generally I've been pretty good. So yeah, Operation Thunderhead, you know, I clarified the goals and they've been pretty good, and I'm solid. And I'm just moving the chains little by little. And so I'm excited that little by little, you know, things are coming together. And yeah, I think I've just kind of got to, I've realized I'm filling in other holes, but sometimes it feels like to fill in some holes, I'm digging other holes, and it's a weird thing, lots of holes. And that's okay. I don't think you can fill in holes at once, and sometimes to fill in holes naturally, it takes time, and I'm trying to fill those in without digging other holes in myself. So I'm just trying to either lean into those things or figure out, but just kind of work through them and take care of myself. And the biggest thing is I need to get back to eating right again and sleeping well. I haven't been eating well at all. It's not been good. So that's going to be a focus. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of support and things that I realize that I have a lot of friends and a lot of people that care about me, but I realize I don't have a lot of support. And in a lot of ways, it's pretty extraordinary what I've managed, but I'm definitely feeling the edge of my limits and my capacity for sure. And it's been wearing on me for a while. But I think this is just sort of the reality. This is how life's been for a while. So that's okay. Anyway, I'm going to let it be there. That's day 140. Hopefully we can pick up the energy or whatever, but I'm just going to start trying to do this as much as I can and then just hope for the best, and we'll go from there. Peace, take care, and see ya.